Hello, Dr Michael Arnheim here, Barnard the Barrister Bear. Hello! This is part 2 of Stop the Boats, part 2. There's, of course, as this is being recorded, a new law is passing through Parliament called the Illegal Migration Bill, which, if passed, it will become Illegal Migration Act 2023. Exactly what form it will take is not yet known. Today, on the 19th of June 2023, but that it will be a tougher system of attempting to keep illegal migrants out. I don't think it will be very successful myself. Poor asylum seekers, refugees. Yes, well, Barnard is, of course, very soft-hearted, aren't you, Barnard? Yes. And he has great sympathy for refugees, as I do. As I do. Genuine refugees deserve all the kindness and all the assistance they can get, because they are fleeing persecution, possibly in the form of imprisonment, maybe even threats of death, and all sorts of injustices. But so why is there all this fuss? So Barnard says, well, why is there all this fuss then? Well, he's right. Maybe we should just throw our doors open to them, let them all come in. Is that what we should do? No, I'm not saying that. No, of course, Barnard, I know you're not saying that. There are people who do. But the real problem with asylum seekers is to know how genuine they are. And how do you find that out? Because a lot of them throw away their ID documents because they know that if they are rounded up by the authorities, their ID documents will reveal where they're from, and they can be traced back, and the veracity of their story, of their claim to refugee status, can be checked. And so they tend to throw away their ID documents. But that results in a longer process in which they are very often housed in what's called a safe house while their case is pending. That unfortunately can take months, even years, during which time a lot of the less genuine ones, or perhaps some of the genuine ones, abscond, disappear into the general population. So how is one going to draw a distinction between the genuine and the bogus? That's the real question. The answer, as far as I am concerned, is not to let them enter the country. They should apply from outside the country, outside the United Kingdom. Yes, but they're being persecuted. Well, says Barnard, is a great advocate for the oppressed. And he's right. If people are being persecuted in their own country, it would be very difficult for them to apply from there to Britain or any other country. How would they be able? Could they go to a British embassy, British consulate in their own country? Not really. If they really are targeted by their own country, by their own police, maybe secret police, and other nefarious authorities in their own country, they wouldn't get very far if they started queuing up outside a British consulate. So that is why, of course, it is understandable that maybe they should just hop on a boat and come over to Britain anyway and enter illegally. But that's not the answer, for several reasons. One is that it puts tremendous pressure on the local population in terms of housing, in terms of education, health services, education, and a number of other things. So that's not the answer. And then if they have no documents, how do you process them? It's a long process. And then the courts, unfortunately, very often tend to be politically correct, and the whole process is spun out over a very long period. Nobody is satisfied as a result. So why not institute a system where they have to apply from outside the country? They don't have to go to an embassy or consulate necessarily. They could apply online. These days, most applications are made online. You can't even get a tourist visa by coming to the country. If you want to go to visit a country, normally you can't just show up there at the border and say, I'm here now, let me in, I want to stay for a week, a month, a year, 10 years, give me a visa, let me have a leave to remain. Very few countries would allow that. You would have to apply from outside the country, either from your own country or some friendly third country. Now, Britain has relations with practically every country in the world. Is there no way Britain could make an arrangement with a third country like that? Rwanda? There is Rwanda, as Barnard, thank you Barnard, yes. And Britain has made an arrangement with Rwanda, but that's not for applications, strangely enough. It's for where they want to send asylum seekers, failed asylum seekers. That is, people who've already arrived in Britain and have been deported. They are deported to Rwanda. That's a very different situation. A country like Rwanda, or many other countries, could be used for applications. Why not one of the Channel Islands, maybe the Isle of Sark? It's a beautiful little island. Obviously, the British government would have to pay them a lot of money for the privilege. But some solution like that really needs to be found, because once people set foot on British soil, they have all sorts of rights which they shouldn't have. Thank you.